Hi everyone, I'm Helen from Susan's family. Today I'm bringing you a Blossom Times from the Retro Nostalgia series. It's made up of the front body, back body, sleeves, connection, edging and decorations. Start by crocheting the front and back bodies, as well as the sleeves separately. After completion, connect the corresponding areas of the fabric pieces. Then pick up stitches for the neckline, cuffs and hem, and crochet the edging for each separately. Finally, make and attach the decorations. The garment comes in two sizes, small and large. The making method is the same, but the stitch count and row count for certain parts are slightly different. From now on, I'll demonstrate and explain using the small size as an example. You can learn with this first, then refer to the corresponding chart for crocheting the large size. Let's start by making the front piece, which is divided into the body, the right front panel and the left front panel. The left and right here are distinguished by the actual wearing side. Among them, the body and the right front panel are crocheted together, while the left front panel is picked up and crocheted separately at the corresponding position of the right front panel. First, crochet the body. Begin with a chain stitch, then crochet back and forth upward. The stitches used include chain, single crochet, double crochet, and half double crochet. Watch me demonstrate the specific crocheting method before you start the actual knitting. First, refer to the gauge swatch diagram on the chart and follow the stitch technique shown in the video. Crochet a gauge sample, then adjust based on your measured dimensions. Adjust your tension or switch to a suitable hook size to meet the size requirements of the gauge swatch. The original yarn is not easy to unravel when crocheting, so I suggest learning the technique first before using the original yarn for crocheting. You can also use yarn that is easy to undo for practice. To make it easier to watch, I'll use cotton yarn for this demonstration, with random colors for specific yarn, color scheme and hook size. Please refer to the product detail page and paper instructions. Start with a chain stitch. Then work the corresponding number of chain stitches. Make the starting chain a bit looser here. After completing it, check the stitch count. The loop on the hook does not count as one stitch. It's not included. That completes the cast on. Now start working row 1. Let me explain again here. From now on I'll demonstrate using the small size as an example. For the larger size, differences will be explained separately. At the same time, those making the larger size can first learn the method, then follow the corresponding chart when crocheting. Start by making 3 turning chains as the beginning chain. These 3 chains count as 1 double crochet, then pick up the 4th chain space from the right going to the left. Pick up the braid of the corresponding chain stitch, the top strand. Work 1 double crochet. Then work 1 chain space. Continue working 1 double crochet in the same position. One chain stitch. 1 double crochet. One chain stitch. Then skip 2 chain spaces to the left without working. Pick up the top strand of the next chain. Work 1 single crochet. Three chain stitches. Skip 2 chain spaces underneath without working. Pick up 1 chain space. Work a single crochet. When inserting the hook into the starting chain stitches later on, always pick up just 1 strand of the corresponding chain. I won't go into detail about this later. Continue by working 3 chain stitches after completing. Skip 2 stitches. Work 1 single crochet. 3 chain stitches. Skip 2 stitches. Work 1 single crochet. I'll consider these 4 single crochets and the chain spaces between them as one space group. Then skip 2 chain stitches to the left. Pick up the next chain space. Work 1 chain stitch and 1 double crochet. Repeat this 6 times. One time. Two times. Three times. Four times. Five times. Six times. After completing, work 1 chain stitch. I'll consider the left and right chain stitch and the space between them as pattern 1. Then alternate crocheting 1 space group and pattern 1. Between the pattern and the space, skip 2 stitches. I'll demonstrate the crocheting pattern again. First, crochet 1 space group, skip 2 stitches respectively. Follow the pattern of 1 single crochet, 3 chain stitches. Repeat this 3 times. One time. Two times. Three times. Continue by skipping 2 stitches and making 1 single crochet. Complete 1 space group. Then skip 2 stitches to the left and make 1 motif 1. This completes another pattern repeat. From now on, follow the previous pattern or the chart. Continue crocheting downward. Complete the last space group. Continue skipping 2 stitches. Now reach the chain stitch edge. Follow the pattern of 1 chain stitch, 1 double crochet. Repeat this 3 times. After completing, pick up at the same position and make 1 more double crochet. The stitch technique at the end here matches the stitch technique at the starting position. This completes the first row. Now move on to the second row. First, make one chain stitch to begin. This is the turning chain for the single crochet. It doesn't count as one stitch. Then turn the work. Pick up one stitch from the edge of the previous row going left. Work one single crochet into that stitch. When crocheting on the wrong side of the previous row, the stitch is located at the top left. Insert the hook into the corresponding stitch and work into it. Next, make a 3-chain space. Pick up the chain space between the double crochets going left. Work one single crochet into that chain space. Make a 3-chain space. Continue picking up the next adjacent chain space, and work one single crochet. Make 3 chain stitches. Now moving down into the space area. Here you'll find 3 large chain spaces, which are the chain holes made with 3 chain stitches. Work one double crochet into the centered chain space. Make 3 chain stitches. Continue working one double crochet in the same position. Make 3 chain stitches. I consider the 3 chain stitches on both sides of the double crochet as motif 2. Now pick up the position of motif 1 from the back. There are a total of 7 chain stitch holes here. Leave the first and last stitch unworked. Make a single crochet into each of the 5 centered holes, with 3 chain stitches between each single crochet. After completing, move downward. When reaching the space area, crochet motif 2 correspondingly. Here, insert the hook into the center chain space. First, make 3 chain stitches. Pick up the hole and work one double crochet. Make 3 chain stitches. 1 double crochet. 3 chain stitches. Complete motif 2. Move downward to the position of motif 1. Make single crochets into the 5 centered holes, with 3 chain stitches between each single crochet. When reaching the space area in the back, crochet motif 2 correspondingly. When reaching above motif 1 in the back, crochet single crochet and 3 chain stitches correspondingly. In the space area, crochet motif 2 correspondingly. Please refer to the front or the chart for details. Continue crocheting downward. Finish the last motif 2. Pick down into the 2 holes between the 3 double crochets on the edge. Insert the hook into the 2 holes and make single crochets, with 3 chain stitches between each single crochet. After completing, continue with 3 chain stitches. Then pick the top of the turning chain from the previous row. In other words, the third chain stitch position, when counting upward from the bottom. Pick both strands of this chain stitch. Work 1 single crochet. Here, pick the 2 strands close to the edge for the stitch. This completes the second row. Next, crochet the third row. The stitch pattern is similar to the first row, but the insertion point is slightly different. Start with 3 chain stitches. Turn the work. Pick the adjacent chain space to the left. Work 1 single crochet. 3 chain stitches. Continue with 1 single crochet in the next hole. Then pick and crochet above motif 2. Insert the hook into the chain space between 2 double crochets. Crochet motif 1 correspondingly. After completing, pick the chain space between single crochets on the left side. Work a group into the corresponding space, which means work 1 single crochet in each hole, 3 chain stitches between single crochets. After completing, move to above motif 2. Crochet motif 1 correspondingly. When meeting the chain space between single crochets, work a group into the corresponding space. Continue crocheting in this way forward. Please refer to the previous steps or the chart for details. Finish the last motif 1. Pick the hole between single crochets downward and crochet single crochets. 3 chain stitches. Continue with 1 single crochet in the next adjacent hole. 1 chain stitch, then pick up 1 stitch from the edge, work 1/2 double crochet, row 3 is completed. Next, crochet row 4. The same crochet method as row 2, except the beginning and ending are slightly different. Start with 3 chain stitches as the turning chain counts as 1 double crochet, then turn the work. Work down 1 chain space. Pick up 1 stitch from the edge of the previous row, crochet 1 double crochet. After completing, work 3 chain stitches as a space. Work down to position motif 1. Make single crochets in the center 5 holes, with 3 chain stitches in between. After completing, you'll be above a set of spaces. Work motif 2 into the center hole. Then move on to above motif 1. Correspondingly make a single crochet and 3 chain stitches. When reaching above a set of spaces, work motif 2 accordingly. Continue with the same method as before, or refer to the chart to continue crocheting. After finishing above the last motif 1, continue with 3 chain stitches. Then pick up the chain space on the edge. Work 1 double crochet, 1 chain stitch, 1 double crochet. Row 4 is completed. Now you can refer to the chart to check the dimensions. And also check if the fabric lies flat. If it's slightly uneven, you can gently stretch it. If it's not flat enough, you can cast on again and rework. Make the foundation chain looser this time. Continue to work row 5. The stitch pattern is exactly the same as row 1. Start with 3 chain stitches as the turning chain, which counts as 1 double crochet, then turn the work. Pick up a chain space between 2 double crochets to the left. Work 1 double crochet, 1 chain stitch. Repeat this 3 times. After completing, pick up the space between 2 single crochets to the left. Work a group of spaces. After encountering motif 2, work the corresponding motif 1. The remaining part can be worked following the previous sections or the chart. Finally, pick up the edge hole. Work 1 chain stitch, 1 double crochet, repeat this 3 times. After completing, you can continue by inserting the hook into the chain space, or pick up the top of the turning chain from the previous row, the third chain stitch position from the bottom up. Insert the hook into 2 strands of the chain stitch. Work 1 corresponding double crochet. Row 5 is completed. The remaining rows for the body. Continue crocheting in the same way as the first 4 rows. When the yarn is not long enough, you can tie a knot to join a new yarn. Next, I will demonstrate the method. Here I will use this swatch for the demonstration. Take the side with the neat texture of the first row stitch pattern as the right side of the entire piece, and the starting yarn tail is on the left side of the piece. We are on the wrong side of the piece. Tie the 2 yarn tails together with a knot. Leave a bit of length on both tails. Tie the knot close to the fabric. Continue crocheting after it's done. Keep the knot and tails on the back side of the fabric. Leave the yarn tails for now. This is the method of joining yarn by tying a knot. Next, everyone follow the chart. Finish the remaining part of the body. Don't cut the yarn after finishing. Next, continue crocheting the right front chest panel area. That concludes the explanation for crocheting the body. Now, let's move on to the right front chest panel. At the beginning of this section, you'll need to decrease stitches on both sides. Later, on some rows, you'll decrease on the side closer to the neckline to create the curve of the neck opening. On the last few rows, you'll decrease on the side near the armhole. Decrease to shape the sloping shoulder. Continue decreasing on the neckline side. After completing, pick up stitches along the neckline side to crochet the edging. The new stitch techniques used include the slip stitch, double crochet decrease. For the small size, you'll also use a combination of double crochet and treble crochet decreases. Please watch my demonstration. I'll continue using the swatch for the demonstration. Row 1 begins with chaining and carrying the yarn along with slip stitches. First, work 1 chain stitch. Turn the work. Skip 1 stitch going down, meaning skip the first stitch on the edge. Work 1 slip stitch into the left side chain space. Then chain 1. Skip 1 stitch to the left. Work 1 slip stitch into the next chain space. This completes the yarn carry. Next, chain 2. Then go into the second chain space of pattern 1. Insert the hook and work 1 single crochet, chain 2. Work 1 single crochet into the next chain space. Chain 3. Continue picking up chain spaces and work single crochets, with chain 3 in between. Finish the chain spaces between the double crochets. Then match up and crochet pattern 2. Continue crocheting according to the chart for the remaining part. Finish pattern 2. Go down and start from the second hole, on the left side of pattern 1. Pick up a chain space and work 1 single crochet, chain 3. Work 1 single crochet into the next chain space. Chain 3. Work 1 single crochet into the next hole. Chain 2. Continue working single crochets into the next chain space. Chain 2. Then pick up the next hole and work a single crochet. Then pick up the chain space between the single crochets on the left side. Work 1 half double crochet. Leave the remaining stitches unworked. Row 1 is now complete. Work row 2 going downward. Make 1 chain as your beginning chain. Turn the work. Pick up the adjacent stitch going to the left. Chain space between the single crochets. Work 1 single crochet. 2 chain stitches. Work 1 single crochet into the next hole. 2 chain stitches. Work a single crochet into the adjacent hole. 3 chain stitches. Continue with 1 single crochet into the next hole. Then work the corresponding group 1 above motif 2. After that, continue crocheting according to the chart. Finish the last group 1. Continue picking up the chain spaces between single crochets to the left. Work corresponding single crochets. 3 chain stitches. Work 1 single crochet into the adjacent hole. Then pick the hole on the left and work 1 half double crochet. Leave the remaining part unworked. Row 2 is completed. Next, crochet row 3. Start with 3 chain stitches as the beginning chain. Turn the work. The remaining part of this row going down and row 4. Refer to the chart for crocheting. After that, crochet row 5. First, follow the chart until the end. Before the position of the double crochet and treble crochet cluster, I've reached the corresponding position here. Pick the corresponding hole going down and work an incomplete double crochet, yarn over. Insert the hook, yarn over and draw through. Then yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. There are 2 loops left. This is an incomplete double crochet. Then pick the adjacent hole to the left. Work an incomplete treble crochet. Wrap the yarn around the hook twice. Insert the hook. Yarn over and draw through. Then yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. Repeat twice. Once. Twice. This is an incomplete treble crochet. There are 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and draw through all loops at once. Complete the cluster of double crochet and treble crochet at the same time. Round 5 is completed. Then for the remaining rounds, please continue crocheting following the chart. Note that some rounds require chain stitches and slip stitches to carry the yarn at the beginning. Refer to the chart for exact stitch counts and insertion positions. If you encounter a turning chain stitch when working on the edge, you can insert the hook into the corresponding chain space, or you can insert the hook into the top of the turning chain stitch by picking up both strands of the chain stitch. Continue crocheting down to before the last row. I'll demonstrate the last row using the swatch. Continue from the previous yarn tail. First, make 3 chain stitches as the turning chain. Turn the work. Then work a half double crochet into the chain space on the left edge. 3 chain stitches. Then pick up the same chain space and the left stitch. Work a double crochet decrease. Make 2 incomplete double crochets. 1, 2. There are now 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and draw through all loops in once. Complete the double crochet decrease. This is how the last row is worked. Finally cut the yarn. First work 1 chain stitch to secure. Leave a little yarn tail. Cut the yarn. Pull tight. Weave the yarn tail to the wrong side of the fabric. You can weave in a few more stitches. Trim the remaining yarn tail. The row is done. This is how the last row is completed. The row is done. Next we'll work on the edging for one side of the neckline. I'll continue using this swatch for the demonstration. Hold the piece with the right side facing you, then along the edge of the right front panel. Pick up and join yarn in one edge stitch. When you come across a chain space on the edge, pick up into the chain space. When you meet a stitch, insert into the stitch. Catch the yarn. To make it easier to see, I'll demonstrate with a different color. Make a slip knot with the yarn. Loop it onto the hook and draw through. Adjust it slightly. Then make 1 beginning chain to start. Correspondingly make 1 single crochet in the same position. Then move to the left. For the small size, this is a chain space position. Insert the hook into the chain space, and make a single crochet. Keep the yarn tail on top of the hook. Work and hide it in as you go. Continue moving left into the adjacent stitch. When you reach a stitch, pick up the stitch and make a single crochet. When you reach a chain space, pick up the space and make a single crochet. Make 1 single crochet into the adjacent stitch. Then make 2 chain stitches. Move left, insert the hook into the chain space between single crochets and make a single crochet. Make 2 chain stitches. Make 1 single crochet into the adjacent chain space. Make 2 chain stitches. Into the next chain space, make 1 single crochet. Make 2 chain stitches. Move left. The second chain space on the left side, which is the hole between the double crochets, make a single crochet into it. Then pick up the chain space and stitch respectively. Correspondingly make single crochets. the double crochet position where stitch techniques have been worked. Still pick up the stitch, which is the insertion position of the stitch technique. Make a single crochet, move downward and meet the side edge of the stitch. Pick up the entire stitch at the edge. Work 3 single crochets. Then, the adjacent position is a slip stitch. Pick up the chain space below and make a single crochet. Move left and meet the slip stitch position. Insert into the braid above it and make a single crochet. At the chain stitch position, continue to pick up the chain space and make a single crochet. At the slip stitch position, pick up the braid and make a single crochet. For the remaining area going backward, if you meet a stitch, pick up the stitch. If you meet a chain stitch position, pick up the chain space below it. If you meet a slip stitch, pick up the braid and insert into it. If you meet the side edge of a stitch technique, pick up the entire stitch at the edge. Work the corresponding number of single crochets respectively. Please refer to the chart and finish the remaining parts. Finish the last stitch. At this point, the neckline edging is complete. Cut the yarn. Hide the yarn tail to the wrong side. Please complete it on your own. This concludes the explanation for the right front piece. Next, we will explain the left front piece. Here, pick up part of the neckline for edging. Work back and forth. A new stitch technique is used for the small size, a cluster of half double crochet and double crochet together. Please watch my demonstration. I will continue demonstrating using the swatch. Row 1 needs to be crocheted on the wrong side of the fabric. First, we are on the right side of the fabric. Refer to the chart to find the insertion point for the first stitch. Then pick up half of the stitch to join the yarn. Here, the stitch has 2 strands. We pick up the strand that is farther away from you. Then join the yarn. Make 1 beginning chain to start, then turn the work. Pick up the same insertion point as before. Work 1 single crochet. Here again, we're picking up half of the stitch for insertion. After completing that, make a 2 chain space. Skip 2 stitches to the left underneath. Pick up half of the next stitch behind. Here, insert the hook into the strand that's closer to you. Correspondingly make 1 single crochet. When you encounter stitches in the following part of this row, always pick up the half of the stitch that's closer to you. Continue with 2 single crochets adjacent. Two chains. Then skip 2 stitches. Correspondingly make 2 single crochets. Moving down is a chain space. Pick up the space and work 1 single crochet, 2 chains. Then skip 1 chain stitch and 1 single crochet. Moving left again reaches a chain space. Pick up the space and work 2 single crochets. Pick up the single crochet position adjacent and work 1 single crochet. Row 1, left front piece. 2 chains. Skip 2 stitches underneath, exactly skipping the chain stitch position. Pick up the single crochet and the next chain stitch position to the left. Crochet 3 single crochets. Then work 2 chains. Below, skip 2 stitches to the left without working. Pick up the back loop and work 3 single crochets one by one. At this point, the edge position of the neckline edging is completed. And row 1 is completed. Crochet row 2 downward. Start with 3 chain stitches as the beginning chain. Turn the work over. Pick up the 2 chain spaces to the left. Crochet 5 double crochets. Then continue picking up the 3 chain spaces on the left side. Work 5 double crochets into each space. After completing, pick up the next chain space. Crochet 4 half double crochets. Then pick up the adjacent left single crochet stitch position to the left, which is the first single crochet of the previous row. Insert the hook into the stitch and crochet 1 single crochet. Continue picking up adjacent stitches along the neckline edging. Pick just one side of the stitch here. Insert the hook into the strand of the stitch that's away from you. Work 19 single crochets one by one. Crochet while remembering to weave in the yarn ends. After completing, the second row is done. Now crochet the third row. First crochet 3 chain stitches. Turn the work. Skip 4 stitches to the left without crocheting. Start counting from the edge single crochet. Then pick up 1 stitch. Work 1 slip stitch. One chain stitch. Skip 1 stitch to the left underneath. Pick up the next stitch. Work 1 slip stitch. Then crochet 2 chain stitches. Skip 2 stitches to the left. Work 1 half double crochet. Same as before, insert into the stitch. From now on, insert into the stitches from the previous row. After completing, continue with 1 chain stitch. Skip 2 stitches. Pick up 1 stitch and work 1 double crochet. Then crochet 2 chain stitches. Next, skip 1 stitch. Work 1 double crochet. Then crochet 1 chain stitch. Skip 2 stitches. Work 1 double crochet, 2 chain stitches. Skip 1 stitch, work 1 double crochet, 1 chain stitch. Skip 3 stitches to the left. Work 1 double crochet, 2 chain stitches. Pick up the adjacent stitch and work 1 double crochet. From now on, continue crocheting following the chart. The last double crochet of this row is worked into the turning chain of the previous row. You can also insert the hook into the top 2 strands of the chain stitch, or insert the hook into the gap between the turning chain and the double crochet below. When completed, the 3rd row is done. Continue to the 4th row, start with 3 chain stitches as the turning chain. Turn the work. Pick up the left side, into the chain space of the 2 chain stitches. Work 5 double crochets. The following stitches are all worked into the chain spaces of the 2 chain stitches. Work 5 double crochets into 1 chain space. Work into the chain space of the last 2 chain stitches. Pick down into the chain space of the 3 chain stitches at the edge. Work 2 double crochets. 3 half double crochets. 1 single crochet. Then pick towards the left, into the neckline edging area. The stitch is now on the back loop only. Work 5 single crochets evenly into each stitch. Row 4 is completed. Now work on row 5. Start with 3 chain stitches as the turning chain. The turning chain here corresponds to the single crochet on the edge. Turn the work over. Then chain 1 space. Skip 2 stitches below. Plus 1 stitch from the turning chain. Here we skip a total of 3 stitches. Insert the hook into the left single crochet stitch. Work 1 double crochet. Chain 2 space. Skip 2 stitches below. Pick the adjacent stitch, work 1 double crochet correspondingly. Chain 1. After this, always insert into the corresponding stitch. Please refer to the chart for crocheting. Finish the last stitch. Row 5 is now completed. Starting from row 6, always pick up stitches from the previous row. From now on, please follow the chart directly. Crochet until right before the half double crochet and double crochet cluster position. My swatch has now reached the corresponding position. Move to the left, work into the corresponding 1 stitch. Work an incomplete half double crochet. Yarn over, insert, yarn over and draw through. This is an incomplete half double crochet. Then pick the corresponding 1 stitch position on the left side. Work an incomplete double crochet. There are now 4 loops on the hook. Yarn over and draw through all loops at once. Complete the half double crochet and double crochet cluster. For the remaining part, please continue crocheting by following the chart. Finish crocheting, then fasten off and weave in the ends. That's all for crocheting the left front chest piece. And with that, the entire front piece is also explained. Next, we'll explain the back piece. Here it is divided into 3 areas: the body, the chest piece, and the shoulder neck area. The body is exactly the same as the front piece. The chest piece doesn't need to be divided into left and right. Crochet back and forth along the body. You'll need to decrease stitches on both sides during the first few rows. After that, work the remaining rows even without increasing or decreasing. After completing that, continue crocheting the shoulder neck area. Here, you need to crochet each side separately, left and right. Start with one side of the shoulder neck area using the existing yarn tail. Once done, fasten off and weave in the end. Then, join new yarn to crochet the other side of the shoulder neck area. Pay attention when joining the yarn. Make sure the crocheted shoulder neck part has the right side facing you for the first row. Then refer to the chart. Move left to find the position of the first stitch and insert the hook. Then join the yarn accordingly. After finishing, cut the yarn and weave in the end. No new stitches or techniques are introduced for the back piece here. Simply follow the chart for crocheting. That concludes the explanation for making the back piece. Next, we'll crochet the sleeves. There are a total of 2 sleeves, and the making method is the same for both. Each sleeve is divided into 2 areas: the sleeve body and the sleeve cap. The sleeve body is further divided into the first section and the second section. Here, you need to crochet 2 pieces for the first section. After completing them, join and crochet the second section. Then continue crocheting upwards to form the sleeve cap. One new stitch technique will be used: treble crochet. Please watch my demonstration. Let's start with the first section of the sleeve body. First, crochet the first piece. Begin with a chain stitch. Then crochet the corresponding number of chain stitches. My sample here is already completed. Make 1 chain as your beginning chain. Then pick the second chain position from right to left. Insert the hook into the top strand of the braid. Work 1 single crochet, 3 chains. Skip 2 stitches below. Correspondingly make 1 single crochet. Then skip 2 stitches and make group 1. After completing, skip 2 stitches and make a space group. Skip another 2 stitches and make group 1 again. Complete, skip 2 stitches and work 1 single crochet, 3 chains, skip 2 stitches. Reach the edge of the beginning chain, correspondingly make 1 single crochet. With that, the first row is done. Now work on the second row downward. Start with 3 chain stitches as the turning chain. Turn the work. Work 1 chain space. Then pick up 1 stitch on the edge and work 1 treble crochet. 3 chains. Continue crocheting according to the chart. Reach the last stitch position. Need to work a treble crochet? Pick the corresponding stitch here. First work an incomplete treble crochet. There are still 2 loops on the hook at this point. Yarn over and draw through all loops in once. Complete the treble crochet. At the same time, the second row is completed. For the remaining rows downward, everyone can directly follow the chart to crochet. Here one piece is completed and you need to cut the yarn. Later continue with the second section. At this point, the first section of the sleeve body is explained. Next, we will explain the second section of the sleeve body. Pick up the piece where the yarn was not cut. Continue with the previous yarn tail. First work 3 chain stitches. Turn the work. Follow the chart downward to complete this fabric section. After completing, work 5 chain stitches as a transition. Then pick up another piece. Position the wrong side of the last row of the first section facing you. Then start from the first stitch at the edge. Follow the chart to crochet. Complete the last stitch. The first row is completed. Continue with the second row. First follow the chart and crochet 2, the position before the chain space for transition between the 2 pieces. When reaching the corresponding position, work 1 single crochet into the chain hole below. Chain 3. Continue with 1 single crochet in the same position. Chain 3. Then pick up a chain space at the edge of the left side piece and work a single crochet. Continue crocheting according to the chart for the remaining part. Complete the last stitch. Row 2 is completed. For the remaining rows afterward, pick up from the previous row and work back and forth. Please follow the chart and complete the remaining parts. Do not cut the yarn after finishing. Continue crocheting the sleeve cap afterward. This concludes the explanation for the sleeve body area. Next, let's explain the sleeve cap. You'll need to decrease stitches on both sides to create the curve. There are no new stitches or techniques introduced here. Everyone can directly follow the chart for crocheting. Once completed, cut the yarn and weave in the ends. This concludes the explanation for making the sleeves. Next is the joining process. It includes joining the front and back bodies and attaching the sleeves. Among them, the front and back body joining is divided into shoulder connection and body joining. Start with the shoulder connection. Here I'm demonstrating with a small swatch. The joining is done on the wrong side of the piece. Place the wrong sides of the front and back pieces facing outwards. Align the two shoulder slope positions correspondingly. Then start by connecting one side of the shoulder. Begin joining from the edge position. When encountering a beginning chain, pick up both top strands of the chain. If coming across a stitch, simply pick up the stitch. And join the yarn. Then make one chain as your beginning chain. Correspondingly work one single crochet. Then crochet 3 chain stitches. Skip a distance of 3 chain stitches downward. Pick up both fabric pieces and work single crochets. When encountering a chain space, pick up the space. When coming across a stitch, pick up the stitch. Insert the hook and crochet. After completing, continue by making 3 chain stitches. Same spacing. Approximately the same distance. When reaching the edge of a stitch pattern, pick up the edge. Work single crochets into each stitch accordingly. 3 chain stitches. Then skip approximately the same distance. Work a single crochet. 3 chain stitches. Continue connecting in the same way. Finish the last single crochet. Now everyone turn it to the right side to check the connecting effect. The fabric looks flat and neat here. Finally cut the yarn. Hide the yarn tail to the wrong side. Please complete it on your own. One side of the shoulder connection is now done. Connect the other side in the same way. Please complete it on your own. The explanation for shoulder connection is now complete. Now proceed to body connection. The method is the same as shoulder connection. Match up the body areas of the front and back pieces. Then start from the side with the starting chain. Insert the hook into the chain stitch position on the edge to join the yarn. Then work a single crochet and 3 chains accordingly. Here, pick the side strands of the 2 fabric pieces. Work into either the edge stitch or the chain space accordingly. When joining, make sure the row numbers on both sides match up. Please check as you go to avoid misalignment. Note that all joining is done on the wrong side of the fabric. After joining, flip to the right side to check the result. If everything looks good, cut the yarn and weave in the ends. Please complete it on your own. That concludes the explanation for connecting the body. Next, we'll explain how to connect the sleeves. Start by joining one side of the sleeve bodice beginning and ending. Then attach the sleeve cap to the armhole position of the front and back bodies. The connecting method here is the same as before. Work a single crochet and 3 chains to connect. When connecting the sleeve body, turn the fabric's wrong side out, then align the beginning and ending side of the second section. Pick down along this side and connect the first section of the sleeve body with both sides of the second section. Pay attention that the previous sleeve body has 2 fabric pieces that need to be connected. This side is the split part and doesn't need to be connected. Connect on the other side. Pick into the hole or 1 stitch along the edge downward. Insert the hook and crochet. Keep connecting all the way to the edge of the last row of the sleeve body. Then don't cut the yarn. Continue upwards to connect the sleeve cap. Before connecting here, first, secure the position. Align the ending position of the sleeve body with the corresponding ending position on the body connection. The centered position of the sleeve cap corresponds to the shoulder connection position. You can use stitch markers to secure the corresponding positions of the 2 fabric pieces. If no stitch markers are available, you can use safety pins or paper clips as substitutes. The sleeve body connection end and the body connection edge are also secured in the same way. Then roughly find a few evenly spaced points between them to secure. Once completed, pick up stitches along the sleeve cap side and one side of the front and back pieces. Work single crochet and 3 chains to connect them. The insertion position doesn't need to be fixed, as long as the fabric lies flat and looks nice after crocheting. Note that all connections are made on the wrong side of the fabric. After connecting, flip it to the right side to check the result. Once the result is satisfactory, cut the yarn and weave in the ends. Everyone can complete this part on their own. That concludes the explanation on connecting the sleeves. Next, we'll proceed with crocheting the edging. Divide it into the collar edge, sleeve edges, and bottom edge. Each will be crocheted separately. Let's start with the collar edge. Work along the neckline area of the front and back pieces. Begin by crocheting 1 row on the back piece. Then crochet in rounds for 1 round. Finish by working on the back piece and left front chest area. The new stitch technique used is chain 3 picket. Please watch my demonstration. I'll use this swatch to demonstrate. Start by working row 1 on the back piece. Hold the right side of the back piece facing you. Refer to the chart to find the joining yarn symbol. Insert the hook into the corresponding chain space to join the yarn. Then crochet 4 chain stitches. Move to the left. Insert the hook into the adjacent chain space between unworked single crochets. Work 1 single crochet, 2 chains. Continue with 1 single crochet in the next adjacent chain space, 2 chains. Work 1 half double crochet in the next chain space, 4 chains. Then insert the hook into the chain space between double crochets on the left side, and work a single crochet. The rest can be completed by following the chart. Finish the last single crochet. Now row 1 is completed. Continue crocheting in rounds. Follow the previous numbering. I call it round 2. The starting position has changed here. First, break the yarn. Then, with the right side of the back piece facing you, find the right side below the shoulder connection. Pick up the edge of the row underneath. Into this chain space, insert the hook and join the yarn. Then make a chain 1 to begin. Pick up the stitch on this edge. Continue working 2 single crochets. Moving on. When you reach a row edge, pick up the gap or chain space, and work a corresponding single crochet. When you encounter a chain space, pick up the chain space, and work a corresponding single crochet. When you meet a stitch, insert the hook into the stitch. There's no fixed requirement for where to insert the hook. As long as it's within the corresponding area, work the required number of single crochets. My swatch here isn't a reference for stitch count or insertion points. Please adjust according to your own situation. Continue crocheting downward accordingly. After finishing the back body section, check if the fabric lies flat. If it's not lying flat, adjust the insertion points as needed. The stitch count remains the same. Next, when reaching the neckline area of the front body, this is the left front edge. Pick up stitches along the side edge, and work the corresponding number of single crochets. After finishing the left front section, move down to the edge of the right front piece. Here, pick up the single crochets from the previous neckline edging. Pick up the stitch and insert the hook. Start from the adjacent single crochet on the left side. Work 3 single crochets correspondingly, 1 into each stitch. Then work a picket of 3 chain stitches. I'll call it picket for short from now on. First, chain 3 stitches. Then pick up the stitch below the single crochet, the front strand, and the left strand. Work 1 slip stitch. The picket is completed. For the small size on this side, you need to skip stitches following the pattern. Here, work 3 single crochets and skip 1 stitch. This means after completing 3 single crochets, skip 1 stitch that won't be worked into. Pay attention, the picket doesn't count. Here, I've already completed 3 single crochets earlier, so move left and skip 1 stitch without working into it. Pick up the corresponding stitches one by one and work 3 single crochets. Then it's time to work the picket. First, chain 3 stitches. Pick up the front strand and the left strand of the stitch below. Work a slip stitch. The picket is completed. Next, according to the pattern, skip 1 stitch. work into the corresponding stitch. For the smaller size, follow this same pattern. Refer to the chart to work the corresponding number of stitches. The larger size has a different pattern, but the method is the same for both sizes here. After completing 3 single crochets, you need to work a picket. For the smaller size, after completing 3 single crochets, skip a stitch. For the larger size, skip a stitch according to the corresponding pattern. Then, in the corresponding area, work the corresponding number of single crochets and picots. Continue crocheting downward. Complete the right front chest panel area. Pick up the first single crochet stitch below. Crochet a slip stitch to connect. The vertical braid on the left side here is the beginning chain. The horizontal loop next to it is the first single crochet stitch. Insert the hook and crochet a slip stitch to connect. The slip stitch joining the beginning and end needs to be tightened. This completes round 2. Next, pick up stitches in the corresponding area and crochet 1 row, which is row 3. Continue from the previous yarn tail. Make 1 chain as your beginning chain. Then pick up the stitch and work 1 single crochet. Continue picking up stitches and work 1 single crochet in each adjacent stitch. Then crochet a picket. No need to skip stitches afterward. Follow with 3 single crochets. Follow the pattern of 1 picket. Keep crocheting until reaching the last stitch of the left front panel area. After completing the left front panel area, pick up the first stitch of the right front panel moving downward. Insert the hook and work a slip stitch to secure. No need to pull tight here, then cut the yarn. Hide the yarn tail to the wrong side. This completes row 3. At this point, the collar edge crocheting is finished. Next, I'll explain the sleeve edge. Along the starting edge of the first section of the sleeve body, and around the split positions of the 2 fabric pieces. Watch me demonstrate. Here, I'm demonstrating with a small swatch. Position the side where the sleeve body starts facing upward, then at the connecting position. Locate the first stitch on the left edge. Pick up the insertion position of that stitch to attach the yarn. Then chain 1 to begin. Work 1 single crochet correspondingly. Moving left afterward, when you encounter a hole underneath a chain, pick up the chain space and work a single crochet. Here, each chain corresponds to 1 single crochet. These are 2 chains here, so work 2 single crochets. At the adjacent chain position, this side already has a stitch worked. Insert the hook into the stitch's insertion position and make 1 single crochet. Then, pick the chain space and the insertion position of the stitch respectively. Work the corresponding number of single crochets. Each chain space here corresponds to 1 single crochet. Finish the last chain space downward to make the corner rounder. Continue working 1 single crochet into the edge's insertion position. Then pick up at the opening position. Here, pick up along the side of each row. Pick up the edge gap or chain space. Work the corresponding number of single crochets. When you meet the chain space used for transitioning the previous piece, pick up at the chain space and work 2 single crochets. Then on the other side, continue picking up the edges and crocheting single crochets. The stitch count should be the same as this side. Finish the edge of the first row. Move downward and pick up at the corner. Insert into the edge's 1 stitch position. Crochet 2 single crochets. Move downward and pick up at the starting chain. Continue crocheting single crochets using the previous method. Finish the last stitch. At this point, check if the fabric is laying flat. If it's not quite flat, adjust the stitch count accordingly. Finish by joining with a slip stitch in the first stitch of the round. Pull tight as well. The first round is complete. Next, round 2. Crochet single crochets and picots correspondingly. After completing the last stitch, join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Then cut the yarn and weave in the ends. Please complete this part on your own. That concludes the explanation for crocheting the sleeve edge. Next, we'll explain the bottom edge. Crochet in rounds along the cast-on side of the front and back bodies. The method is similar to that of the sleeve edge. For round 1, pick up the chain stitches and work single crochets. Make 1 single crochet in each chain stitch. Insert the hook into the chain spaces and the stitch insertion points respectively. After completing round 1, remember to check the stitch count. Also, check if the fabric is laying flat. Adjust the stitch count as needed based on your situation. Then for round 2, work single crochets and picots. Please refer to the chart for details. Complete the bottom edge crocheting. That concludes the explanation for the bottom edge. Next, we'll make and attach the decorations. They consist of leather cords and buttons. First, make the leather cords. Start making the leather cord for the neckline. I'll use this small sample for the demonstration. Pick up the wax cord. Insert it into any hole vertically, at the connection point between the left front and back panels. Then pick up a small muumuu bead and insert it. Followed by a large muumuu bead. Then another small muumuu bead. Next, find the next insertion point. In this sample, it's on the right front panel, at a position 3 cm away from the left front panel. You can also adjust the position based on your preference. My sample position is random. Find a suitable spot to pull through. Then pass through all 3 beads. If it's difficult to thread through, you can slightly heat the edge. Or use a sewing needle to help pull it through. Then adjust the length. The length here is about right, matching the same spacing as the fabric. It can be a bit loose if needed. Adjust according to your preference. Decide on the right length. Trim off the excess wax cord. Then heat the ends and connect them together. Once it's secure, place the join part into one of the bead positions. If it's hard to thread through, you can also place it at either end, as long as it doesn't affect wearing. That's how the leather cord for the neckline is made. Next, make the leather cords for the sides of the body. You can fold the remaining wax cord in half and then trim it off, or make one side's cord first and then cut it. Then pick up the fabric. Take 4 rows as one pattern repeat. For the small size, count 8 pattern repeats upward from the bottom. For the large size, count 9, then place the connecting part at the center. Mark the adjacent chain spaces on both sides. There are 9 threading points on this side. We can mark them first with stitch markers. Mark at the top where there's a larger chain space. Then moving downward, mark at the same position of each pattern repeat. The last marked point should be at the edge where there's a larger hole. Now you can take a look at the effect after marking. The gaps between the points are roughly the same. If the spacing isn't quite right, you can adjust according to the situation. As long as the spacing is even, down here I'll demonstrate the making method. Here I'm demonstrating at an arbitrary position on the sample garment. Actually, it's at the connection point. I'm mainly demonstrating the technique. Everyone can learn first. First, pick up the wax cord. Then at the top marked position, exit through the marked hole and the symmetrical hole beside it. Then at the next marked position, insert into the symmetrical point. Exit through the hole corresponding to the next marked point. Insert a small muumuu bead at this point. Insert through the hole corresponding to the next marked point. Exit through the hole corresponding to the bottom marked point. Insert a small muumuu bead. Using the same method, continue inserting down twice more. Then insert one large muumuu bead. Leave about 10 centimeters of length at the bottom. Fold the other side in half. Align the bottom. Then cut it off. Thread through from the symmetrical position on the other side. Make sure to pass through the beads along the way. Tidy everything up after threading. The marked stitch marker can be removed. Lay the fabric flat. Check the effect of the threading. Here, a total of 3 small muumuu beads have been inserted at the top of the fabric. The gaps between them are roughly the same. Once it fits properly, continue inserting the remaining small and large muumuu beads. Then connect the beginning and ending. After securing the connection, you can tuck the connecting part into the bead position. Leave a small distance at the bottom, then leave about 4 centimeters on the edge and tie a knot. You can also place the connection at the knot position. Then adjust the position of the muumuu beads. This completes the leather cord on the side of the body. Similarly, the position and style of the leather cord here can be adjusted according to your preference. Make the other side in the same way. Pay attention to keeping the leather cords on both sides symmetrical and the same length. You can mark the position first before sewing. That concludes the explanation of making and attaching the leather cords. Finally, sew on the buttons. Here at the sleeve slit position, evenly sew on 2 buttons at the cuff edge position. There's no specific method required, just make sure they're secure. Everyone can complete this part on their own. After sewing the other side of the slit, use the chain space at the edge as the buttonhole. That concludes the explanation of attaching the buttons. With that, the entire sweater assembly is now complete. If you have any unclear parts during the crocheting process, don't hesitate to join our Facebook group to get supports. Susan's Family, supporting your handwork experience, sharing the joy of life. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.